Hello, welcome to Nattys Crafts. I'm Natalie. I always do all the crafting. And today we're actually doing Christmas in July. It's the end of the month, so I figured I better get one good video in for Christmas in July. So today's that video. So I got just a couple of things to show you. So let's go ahead and go take a look. So we're going to start with some Christmas tree decorations. So you'll need some clear Christmas balls and filler for those balls. I'm using beads and these little crystal pieces. And I apologize, as I say on my screen here, I apologize for my hand. I sliced my hand open, so I have a band-aid throughout the video. It's so attractive, it's great. So I'm going to start with this first one. And I'm just going to put these little crystals. I believe these were from Dollar Tree. They've been in my stash forever in this little container, this gum container. And so now finally I'm going to use them. And I'm just going to fill up the ornament. Now, these ornaments are not from Dollar Tree, although Dollar Tree I think has a similar size. These are a little bit smaller than what I think I've seen at Dollar Tree, but it just means you need more filler if you get bigger ones, so it doesn't really matter. And then I'm just going to make a hanger using ribbon. I'm going to dovetail the end of the ribbon, and then I'm going to, because the dovetail makes it pointy, it's easier to stick through the little ornament topper there. And I'm just going to stick that through and pull it to the middle eventually. My hands are so arthritic. They don't do stuff like this well. I have no dexterity. It's embarrassing. But once you get it through, then it's great. It's fabulous. And we're just going to tie it in a knot and make it so that it's not too long, but it's long enough to fit around a Christmas tree limb. Or branch, I guess. It's not a limb. So make it the length that you want it, and then just trim off the edge if you have too much ribbon at the end. Like this one, I had too much ribbon at the end, so I just went ahead and I trimmed it, did another dovetail and trimmed it back down. And then you just stick that on top of your Christmas bulb. And I just did this with 4 different styles of filler. So the first one was like these little crystal diamond thingies. This one is going to be just some very simple pearls. Now, you'll see later on that my Christmas tree that I had available is white. So these first 2 you can barely even see against the Christmas tree. But I know people like that monochromatic look, so maybe this is the thing. But it's better if you can actually see it, so probably on a green tree would be better. And then the one I really liked the most, I think, was this one on this string. It was beads strung up on this string. And I liked it because it filled up the space without me having to use, 300 beads. And so I just kept stuffing the little string of beads in there. The string was a little bit stiff. I think these were from Hobby Lobby, probably. I'm not sure. But you can find stuff like this everywhere. They're just beads is what they are. Beads on a string. And then when I fill it up enough and figure out where I want it to end, I'm going to leave just a little bit sticking out. So I'm going to wrap the topper around the edge of the string there. And then I'm going to leave just a little bit hanging out and just trim off the edge. And there's a cute little bead hanging. So I thought that was cute. And then I went through and I picked through all these colored beads and I picked out the red and the green beads to make it somewhat Christmassy. And these ornaments that I'm using, they do have a small opening, so they do have to be small beads. I had some that were organized by color, but they were too big for these little ornaments. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to put the hangers on each of the ornaments. And what ribbon you use, or if you could use twine if you have more of a country theme in your home. But, just make it fun. Just do it however you want it to look. If you want these to be white or purple or yellow or pink or, whatever color, make it fun. Make it yours. And then once we've got it tied off, we're just going to stick it on top of the Christmas ball. Or ornament, I guess I should say. And look at how cute. You can barely see them again because all I had was the white Christmas tree available. But they're just cute. I mean, there's no other way to say it. They're just cute. You know, just kind of just something you could do with the kids or the grandkids so easily. Love it. And then we're going to make a little beaded wreath. And again, with my hand, sorry, you're going to have to look at it the whole time. I apologize. We're going to start off with this wreath. I don't think they call it a wreath form, but basically that's what it is. It's a circle. We just need a circle because we're going to attach beads to a piece of cardboard. So I copied the circle shape, and then I'm going to cut out the circle shape so that I have something to glue my beads to. And you have to decide how thick do you want it, how big do you want it. You know, that's all decisions you have to make. Obviously, make sure you have enough beads to get around the whole thing. And I ended up only using the red, not the white. And once I've got it cut on the outside, then I'm going to make a little cut to go on the inside. And then I'm going to leave about a little less than an inch all the way around. And then I'm going to just tape it where I cut it. I'm going to tape it on both sides, just using masking tape, because masking tape you can paint over, which is what I wanted. And then I did have to finish off because I made that one corner a little too rough, so I had to sharpen that up a little bit. And then I'm just going to make some paint. I don't have red paint that I like, so I just make it every time I need it. So I'm using a super bright red that you get from Dollar Tree and a little bit of black. These are acrylic paints. They are not a, what is it called? Craft paint. What is it called? I can't think. But it made a really dark maroon, so I really like that. And I'm just going to paint the cardboard. And I am going to paint it on both sides, the inside and the outside of the circle, like everywhere. Because I don't want to see any cardboard. I want no cardboard color, unless you're using brown beads. If you're using brown beads, then that's great. And then I'm going to make a little hanger out of a chenille stem. And just make a little loop, and then I'm just going to twist the loop together. And then I'm going to tape it down. And I should have taped it down before I made my first coat of paint, but I didn't, so I forgot. So that's okay. So I'm going to tape it down nice and snug and secure, and then I'm going to end up painting that piece so that you can't see it through the beads. The idea of painting is so that you can't see the background through the beads. That's why we're painting it. So you want whatever color your beads are, you want the background or you want your cardboard to match. Now these were the beads from Hobby Lobby, and I always get them after Christmas, so I think they were 70 or 80% off. So even if you went on a 50% off day, that they'd only be $3, but I think I paid like $2 for them, if I remember correctly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim off the end, make sure I have enough rope. I had to take some beads off of the rope because I need the space in order to bend the beads back and forth because they were kind of tight, which is why I had to take some of the beads off. And then I'm going to hot glue the rope to the back of my wreath. And then I'm going to start off by just gluing the beads 2 at a time to start with. Just gluing the beads down to the cardboard. And obviously it's cardboard, so they stick very well. And then once I've got the first 2 down, then I'm going to just do 4 at a time and just keep gluing all the way around. And it's possible you don't need glue all the way around like what I'm doing, but I don't like stuff to fall apart, so I always do a little more than needed. So I just kept gluing and gluing and gluing all the way around. And I ended up with 3 rows of beads. And I should have started and stopped at the top, but I didn't. And so, you know, you learn, you live and you learn, right? And then I did have to go back and glue some of the edges there because it was just a little bit hanging over. And then at the back, I glued, just like I did to start with, I glued the end of the rope to the back. And then I'm just going to paint the rope so that you can't see it. And that's it, simple there. Now, the reason why I say I should have put the loop at the bottom was because when I put my bow on, my bow is going to go at the top, which means you can see the break in the bead down at the bottom. So I would recommend you put the loop wherever you started and stopped the beads. And I'm just doing a circle loop or a circle bow. So just cut 2 pieces of ribbon, make a circle, and glue the 2 ends of the circle together. I'm going to do that twice, and then I'm going to use, so there's the 2 circles that I made, and then I'm going to use a 3rd piece as the tail of the bow. Now the bow here I'm going to put together with another piece of that same chenille stem. I'm just going to wrap it around, make it super easy to do. And then we're just going to twist that around. And then I'm going to cut off another little piece, because I'm going to wrap that piece around the middle of my bow, because I don't want to see, obviously I don't want to see the chenille stem. So I'm going to wrap that piece around the middle there. And then I still have to stick my tails in that ribbon as well. So I just kind of fold it up so I get the shape that I want and the bend where I want it. And then I'm going to wrap that little piece of ribbon around both pieces, the tail and the bow. And I'm not a bow maker, so, you know, if you don't like my bow, then that's fine. You can buy bows, you can make your own bows. It's all up to you. And I'm just going to glue that little piece around the center there. Make sure it's super solid so it's not falling apart. And then cut off the extra ribbon. And I thought it looked pretty good. And then I am going to dovetail the ends of this ribbon. So that I have that nice sharp point. And it's adorable. I love it. And so then we're going to glue that bow onto the wreath. Now I could have glued it, I suppose, at the bottom, but I like bows at the top. So that's the only place I ever think of when I think about gluing a bow. So that's what I did. And there it is. Now you see from there, you can see it would have looked better if the bow would have been at the bottom or if the hanger would have been at the bottom. But I think it's adorable. It's small because I used the smallest ring, but it's adorable. I thank you so much for stopping by Nattys Crafts today. I sure hope that you could go ahead and give the video a big thumbs up. Leave a comment down below. Be sure to subscribe. When you subscribe, you should hit the bell so you know when the next video comes out. And remember to always appreciate today, as tomorrow is never promised. Thanks, y'all. Y'all have a great one.